just kind of ploop yourself in the middle of team fight and just implosion.
I like the sound effect.
For a real fight.
Your team is
just
picking.
ploop right in, but we're gonna ploop right into the draft right here. First pick, Bear. Okay, definitely not gonna be Bear, but Kalia will be snap pick away from Team Flash. Finally, some form of change that we see, but the only change that is, well, the only constant that we're seeing right here is Team Flash once again ends up in blue side.
So, Ignite never wants to change things, and it kind of seems like Flash just love being in #1. They have decided to not pick up the Yushin this time. Wow.
Yeah,
okay.
definitely. Another variation is that Team Flash reacted to banning away the Alice, right? Like what I mentioned before we start the stream, right? Literally, the games, right? Literally, Alice is such a strong hero in this particular patch.
I kind of like the fact that Team Flash has decided, you know what, they don't ban
the beginning of another.
Kind of seems as though actually, I don't really know why they do not ban the Yushin and not pick it at the same time.
Okay.
Team Flash took the opportunity to steal the Kalia away, and IG did not respond by taking the Yushin. So Team Flash still have the opportunity to do that. They can still play that.
Mandala
open,
blossoms
by
from
the
a
way.
withered Kikyo.
Okay, is IG
I will
really
choose
not
my own path.
Your team is picking.
But okay, the reason why I think Yushin is not really prioritized right here, because I think in the first 2 games that we saw, Yushin relies on a lot of conditions for him to basically be overpowered, right? Yes, your level 4 needs your level 4 is your power smite. You need to start securing a kill. If you don't secure a kill, you're gonna play from behind. And if you're gonna be playing from behind, there are other better heroes that are better in playing from behind, and after that climb all the way back. But it seems like, you know, IG, ooh, Zach, going back into the Fanny once again.
But this time, it's different.
They call me a hero because I
Your
saved
team
my
Flash,
nation
they
from
do
falling
have a
apart.
targeted stun. And it's not just a stun, but it's quite a big of a pick-off, right? Bear, if he's playing as a Kalia, or Jay, if he's playing as a Kalia, you should be able to reach that Fanny pretty darn easily. This doesn't necessarily show how IG wants to play, but with the fact that there's Falling Star Moon plus
Welcome to
plus
Brock's
Kimi,
Castle,
I think it's fair to say that they
friend.
want to play for team fights. They should want to play for team fights.
Your team is
incarnate.
Banning away the Moskov, IG once again, a nod over the side, what Vanix likes to play, and now all of a sudden the gold laners a little bit limited. Don't forget, IG can also easily swing that Kimi all the way to the gold lane if Seiji wants to do that, but usually you see them mostly in the mid. Played the Kimi quite
Your
well in
team
day
is
number
picking.
1, earned himself 2 MVPs in a row, and you start to see the Tigreal getting banned away by the side of Team Flash.
Okay, so no more Tigreal, even for Team Flash. The way that they play, or rather the way that they drafted, is definitely a lot more different from game number 1 and game number 2. It's just gonna change things out completely.
Fun is all that
With the
matters.
1-1 being picked out, physical, quite a bit of physical, actually magical as well. So pretty well balanced team comp. The only problem is gonna be their frontliners. If they're just going to leave the Esmeralda as the main frontliner, is definitely gonna be tough. What kind of roamer that they want? It has to be really
My
easy.
mission
No
to
Grok,
banish all
no Tigreal.
darkness.
Lancelot, selected by the side of Team Flash, you know, the second top tier jungler right now that you see from most of the MPLs. Right now, last pick. If you notice, Vanix always like to get picked in the second phase pick ban, right? Unless the Moskov is wide open and they really want to play around the Moskov. Right now, Team Flash definitely can go anywhere, right? They can
Experience
go
the euphony of
back to
suffering.
something that I'm more comfortable with. I'm thinking if they can either go for the Grandeur or even go for the Bruno, right? You need something that's more hard-hitting, especially to the mid to the late game. But technically speaking, in this particular patch, the Grandeur is still not too shabby either. Once you pick up the Sky Piercer, you're just going to do a lot of damage. But my question to the Vanix right here is the Grandeur against a Fanny that's spinning all across the board, and there's so much mobility in the side of the 1-1. Is it a good choice though?
Now, do we have pickoff from IG? Not necessarily. They can play pickoff. They can also play team fight. Team fight, at least Fanny can just kind of spin for days, and that is not going to be that big of a deal. They can initiate with the Kimi as well.
Alright.
So they do pick up the Cho, so that will in the end allows them to have a pretty good way of opening up the maps, and of course supplement the tankiness for Esmeralda and pickoff.
Yeah, and I was thinking if IG doesn't go for Troll, there's other better choices, for example, like the Khalid, right? Because right now, IG really lacks a lot of CCs, right? Yes, you got the Falling Star Moon, a bit of a Roots going on, the Traction Pulse, provided you land that one as well. You need something that's more confirmed. Troll, technically speaking, does have the Way of the Dragon just a little bit. Yeah, single out somebody, perhaps you could try to go ahead and kick the Granger if you can catch him, but if you kick the Kalia, I think it's a little bit awkward in my opinion. Or you could potentially kick the Lancelot away. I think that's also one of the person they could target. But at the very least, this is a very different lineup on the side of Flash. Takes a nod over the side of Blade, what he likes to do in terms of the Lunox. There's also Arlot being selected by the side of Bear, which Flash has consistently banned in 2 games. We want to see the value that this Arlot brings into game number 3.
So there we go, ladies and gentlemen, the entire lineup between these two teams as they enter the Land of Dawn to play for match point. Who's going to be the one that will get themselves a series win? We gotta have to watch as we start things off with Flash that will open up at the orange buff, and of course the Fanny will open up at the purple buff. That will leave them all to congregate
Once again, we're gonna pick up exactly where we left off. In fact, Kimi doesn't really hasn't started rotating it. Kurtizi has to farm underneath the turret. A bit more pressure, but if you notice, Ignite Gaming starts hard invading Flash SG's jungle. We'll not be able to see Hades as of yet, but because Hades is already on the other side.
So looking at things, lane priority and all that jazz. Granger definitely have prior. That's one for Team Flash.
Yep, in the early game.
Yeah, in the early game. In the middle lane, Team Flash should be the one that has got lane prior in the middle lane because Kalia plus the Lunox is pretty darn strong as well. That's 2 points for Team Flash, and in the XP, Esmeralda is the one that will be able to win in lanes until it reaches
Level 4?
No, not really. Level 4 in terms of ulti, they are kind of the same. So
Flicker already committed by the side of Vanix. That's good information for the side of Ignite Gaming. And you know, you have a Fanny on the other side. Now Zac definitely has his eye trained on Vanix if Zac wants to pick up an easy first blood.
So I don't think that the XP lane is gonna go anywhere. We do have endless regeneration coming in from the Esmeralda. While in the meantime, the Arlot can do quite a lot of damage in lane. While in the meantime, Esmeralda, I'm not sure whether he can realistically do anything.
Oh, immediately getting deleted right there. First blood given the side of Seiji. Once 1-1 starts picking up steam, exact same thing. It's a snowbally kind of hero and allows her to go all the way to the later part of the stage. Now Flash SG needs to find a way to track this back. Maybe a turtle kill and maybe a first blood.
It could go to anyone at this point, but Hades will take the turtle.
Taking turtle as well, unable to find anything more. Jay, I think Burns of Flicker as well, try to reach out. Taking away the purple buff is definitely going to be valuable for the side of Flash. However, it's going to be Zac securing it for himself.
Yep, no problems whatsoever for them to get that. So a good amount of, I will say, good footing for Ignite. They're not too far behind just yet, especially since looking at Team Flash's lineup, they can go pretty darn ham in the start of the game, as long as they kind of feed a little bit more over to the side of Vanix if he does pick up a Sky Piercer.
Yeah, and right now, technically speaking, if you notice, it's a lot easier to play the Esmeralda because all the Esmeralda has to do is really to spin, gain shields, whereas Bear has to, you know, calculate the trigonometry, making sure that the passive lands,
the
hypotenuse, solve for R and pi at the same time in order to be able to do damage and stay in the fight.
Damn, man.
All Yuta has to do is spam skills.
Yeah, that's why Team Flash's lineup is definitely and inherently more difficult to play out. While Ignite, they just kind of need to throw their bodies to a certain extent. But both teams, the most basic way of playing for both teams is just pick off. Rapid Dude wants to find someone, in the same way Jay wants to find someone. From that point onwards, it really just completely relies on the players, on how they want to move on from there. The only thing difficult about Ignite Gaming is Zac playing as a Fanny, right? Yep. How do you even move from one place to another? How do you navigate yourself within all the team fights? And he is undoubtedly one of the main damage dealers of the team. If you don't get good cables, then the team loses a lot of damage.
I love the timing coming off both these two teams, right? Especially from the side of Team Flash. But hold on a second. Hades, may have got caught just a little bit more. Rapid Dude just knocking out Tsunami Slam, but Kurtizi picking up Zac. It's definitely one way to equalize this, and Hades still staying alive, juking out Ignite Gaming.
with all of the members from the side of Team Flash rushing their way over to the turtle. All 5 members just congregating here. While Ignite, it kind of seems as though they are not too interested in this turtle at all. They want to focus on their lanes a bit. So with Esmeralda all the way down the bottom lane proxying, they want to look for post-turtle fights. And if they don't get anything, then this entire proxy just does nothing.
And the worst part is, right, hold a second, Vanix sidestepping Rapid to just a little bit more. Jay onto Rapid to Seiji down low just a little bit. Will be able to get on the way, but the burn coming off of Curtizi, the final slash going in, will be able to miss. Curtizi picking up the kill onto Rapid as well. Tsunami Slam for the side of Jay onto Blade as Brilliant will be propped by the side of Curtizi as well. Yuta joining in the fight. Blade trying to output the damage from afar, down chipping Jay down low. And now Ignite Gaming losing 2 members earlier that way is not how Ignite Gaming wants to go into game number 3.
Not at all. Proxying and the bottom lane proxy does absolutely nothing now. They lost top lane. They lost the turrets as well. There is so many things that they lost that they were unable to recover since a minute ago. If this continues, Team Flash is mostly just gonna win by tempo.
Yeah, literally, right? And hold on, you can start to see the damage coming off the Lancelot already. And if you notice how Flash is literally playing this map, they're playing the purple buff as if it's a turtle fight as well.
Yeah, you're right. Actually, makes absolute sense. Well, Zac does not have the retribution to kind of take the purple buff as well, and it's nowhere around to be seen too. So that is goodbye to purple buff for Ignite. Slows their growth down and their possibility to kill. So now Rapidude, he's got nothing that he can do. Absolutely nothing at all.
There you go.
They don't have a combo too. Now that I realize.
Yeah. But at the very least, Seiji will be able to pick up topside turret, right? And also with that first blood, hopefully that helps him just a little bit more. But I'm a little bit concerned. Earlier just now, Hades was already level 10 and Zac only just hit level 9. Ignite Gaming, oh, hold on a second, there's a bit of a trade back. Immediately get blown up to pieces. But it's not Ignite Gaming, but that's a good pickup though.
Is it good enough though? That is 1 kill onto Bear for a turret in the bottom lane and very potentially a turret in the middle lane. So that is an overall loss in value again. Unless Ignite Gaming finds a way to swoop in for the kill over to Flash again. And let's not forget, there's Turtle again. So this is all about tempo. And Team Flash, they are playing the tempo well.
Yeah, it feels like they're literally hitting every single note on the rhythm game. And Flash feels like they pass every single haggle check, right? Because they're getting out with better deals as compared to Ignite Gaming.
This is rough for Ignite. If this goes on, they're lacking in money, they don't have the itemizations, and they have to just kind of play past them all the way until 15 plus minutes because Seiji needs items.
And Jay just gonna dive onto Yuta as well. Here comes the damage from the side of Ignite, from Flash SG. Ignite Gaming couldn't really hold as anything at all, as Rapidude will be the sacrificial lamb for the side of Ignite Gaming.
The good thing is now Zac has the purple buff. So there are definitely more things that he can do right now, and how he wants to use that resource is, you know, something that we gotta have to see. He put himself now in the top lane to get some external pressure to take the burdens off of the rest of the team. But do remember, as long as Fanny is just running the map like that, it's also gonna siphon the gold away from Seiji, as both the jungler and the gold laner, they are sharing. They're sharing resources all around the map.
And a Fanny going down in terms of priority, in terms of gold distribution, it's not exactly ideal for Zac, right?
I would definitely say so, right? So in the end, they're both gonna have to play for what they can. Seiji can't pop off that early, so might as well toss one on Fan.
Prepping for the turtle fight, but it seems like Seiji getting isolated right there by the final slash. Bear landing down that one perfectly, and Yuta has to run for the heals. Zac nowhere to be seen, trying to win for the win, but he will be able to up the damage. But he will be able to pick up both Phoenix and Jay, limping away, picking up a double kill for himself, equalizing that one. That's a bit of a shutdown goal as well, and Rapidude picking up a shutdown to Curtizi. Bear would trade for that though, but it's actually more worth for Ignite Gaming.
That is super worth for Ignite Gaming. The fact that the jungler got 2 kills out of that is more than enough to say that, okay, the jungler now, +1, needs the gold, got the gold. And now moving on forward, I think that as long as Zac continues this tempo, they will be able to fight for the upcoming Lord. But if it syncs up with the purple buff, or rather desyncs with the purple buff, it's definitely gonna cost them a fight because Cho can't really dance around the Lord that well. It leaves to the Esmeralda to do that, and that means that Esmeralda gonna have to enter a team fight with very little. Oh wow!
Oh, that was a very obvious product placement. I wasn't expecting this. That caught me off guard.
That caught me off guard as
I
well.
was like, is that a team fight? Oh dear Lord. Let's speak about
camera
Lord.
placement. Oh,
Yeah.
I love that.
Well done, observers. You caught us casters off guard. But speaking about catching off guard, Zach gets caught off guard. That's a shutdown goal. Swinging over the side of Vanix
Rowdy.
once again. Ignite Gaming taking one step forward, but they have to take 2 steps back.
Okay, so all that possible momentum, all the
Gone.
gold that Zack managed to get for himself to put himself on top of Team Flash, gone. I would like to believe that Hades and Zack should be of the same gold. No, actually no, definitely higher because we're looking at a 3,700 gold advantage in favor for Team Flash. They managed to take down 3 turtles. They managed to take down 1 Lord as well. With the Lord that's marching in, they will get the Lord advantage as well. Clearing out almost every single one of these outer turrets is definitely guaranteed.
You can see how fluid the movements from the side of Hades on this Lancelot, right? If you've noticed, quite a few times he's used the minion waves to basically clear it very quickly. He's very confident in assassins, and that's the Hades I love to watch. What's that?
Reminds me of multiple seasons ago.
Yeah.
It's all about the sneaky Lancelot. I will always remember him for his Lancelot. And Hellcat, yeah. Oh my god, Hellcat.
Yeah, definitely. Right, but now, okay, at the very least, the holy defense is already popped in the mid lane. Aside Ignite Gaming, they need to pick up some form of defense because remember we talk about, you know, the tempo they built for themselves is already now gone. Flash SG back into the pilot seat, and this is exactly what we're looking for. But hold on a second, Rapid conceal play goes in, try to pick up, but gets picked up by Jay instead. The damage coming up by Ignite Gaming is not there as Hades. Oh, he goes around the wall
Anticlimactic.
right underneath. He's just starting onto Ignite Gaming.
Super anticlimactic, but that is more than enough for him to be able to create space. That is more of a zoning puncture to scare Ignite. Because remember, every single puncture that he makes, or rather every
Does
single
a lot
dash
of
he makes, it will increase in damage. So Ignite themselves knows what kind of threat it could very possibly be.
I've heard of zoning ultimates before, but I've never heard of zoning punctures. But speaking of zoning, Vanix will be able to pick up Rapidus right here. Zack goes for the spin, and Jay picking up Blade, immediately deleting, giving Vanix another Sky Piercer stacks. And now Flash SG on the snowball, cracks open 2 lanes.
First Lord that enabled them to get 2 inhibitor turrets. That is more than just value.
Oh man.
That is
I'm still distracted by
Value City, I don't
the zoning puncture. I've never heard of that word before.
zoning puncture. But hey, it does make sense if you think
I've
about
heard
it,
of zoning.
right?
I've heard of Fanny zoning with using a spin around the base, but I've never heard of zoning punctures on a Lancelot before.
But it works so well
does.
against a team like Ignite because all of the heroes from Ignite, they are not necessarily heroes that have very strong base defense. Right? Rapidut may be decent base defense, but in terms of his items, he needs to have a good amount of defense plus the anti-cuirass to realistically be able to survive a big blow out of Hades. Because after all of that punctures and a single Thorn Rose, I think it's fair enough to say that Rapidut would lose close to 1/3 of his HP.
Yeah.
And it's very difficult for him to be able to re-engage to find that pickoff. So they gotta have to zone themselves away to not allow Hades to do all that jazz, right?
Yep.
Well, Yuda needs to stay alive, and he can't. He don't have very good base defense to just sit there, absorb all the attacks.
Conceal play coming in, allowing a bit of movement speed boost all the way to the Lord pick. Ignite Gaming is playing this map as if it's dangerous grass. But this is Flying Cloud map that we're talking about, hiding around, making sure. But I feel like Ignite Gaming is not, the timing is actually kind of bad, but hold on a second, they really have to try to force it. Scouting Curtisi all the way, but Seiji's down low, just a little bit more, gets burned away by the Brilliance instead. The Lord secured by Hades, picking up Zack as the collateral damage, and now Flash SG looking to puncture Ignite Gaming, putting out the flames of Ignite. Yuta trying to pull the members on the side of Flash SG away from the main prize, but Hades is wrecking havoc. The one-man army in the base of Ignite Gaming.
Just pull Yuda for days while the rest of Team Flash marches themselves right into Ignite and completely ensure that Ignite have got no way to fight around this.
Wait, hold on a second. You can use the flying cloud of your enemy as you fly around, just literally smothering Ignite Gaming in game number 3 as they win this match.
Okay, that's
Today
kinda
I learned
funny.
something.
Today we learned something. You can use the opponent's
I never
flying
knew.
clouds.
I never knew.
Oh my god, flying clouds. Oh goodness gracious.
Wait, does that mean that if you're escaping from an enemy's base, you could just tap onto the enemy's flying cloud? And fly
Apparently.
out? I never learned. I never knew that.
So that actually promotes you to be able to dive into the... Oh!
I hate it when the production plays this kind of tricks on mind games on us. But of course, you know, the hidden damage, Curtese on the Lunox only died only once. And it's just also spreading a lot of damage all across the board, right? If you notice how the Lunox just being very invisible, just outputting damage, Seiji and also Rapidude tried to do a bit of a flanking maneuver onto Lunox, onto Curtese, but somehow, you know, it's just Seiji just enters the fight with like half HP, goes into Brilliance, cannot get tagged, and all of a sudden Seiji is in a bit of an awkward position.
Yeah, so what can I say? Lunox. 6:1:6 damage, big damage, shred, kill, death.
Enough said, you got your
enough
Holy
said.
Crystal, you got your Glowing Wand, that's
You-
more than enough.
Yeah, and somehow you have a career that enables you as well, right? Something that we could have expected a lot, or rather we can always expect from Blade in the previous games. It's kind of like that has always been the case.
Yeah, and if you notice the Lunox's emblem, Curtese's emblem, right? Like going for the put yourself together so that he could use the flicker as quickly as possible, because that's also very critical for her Wombo combo, right? Also, another pointer to take note is I've seen a lot of Arlot builds, right? Arlots usually they're also the tank Arlots that build the tank emblem, but this time Bear opted for the fighter emblem. I'm also interested in what kind of item builds to go for. And if you notice for the side of Zac as well, I think. Yeah, Zac is able to output the damage earlier just now, but when it comes to later parts of the game, he's unable to close the game as well. Same could be said over his game number 1 performance.
So, looking at the items, just as you wanted to, we do have got the Dreadnought armor, Oracle, as well as the Dominance Ice. It's understandable to always first build into the Fury Hammer, just so that you'll be able to win in the lanes and really deal with the Esmeralda in the early stages, just so that, you know, get yourself out of the lanes well enough, so on and so forth. Well, in the meantime, all the other heroes, I'll say that there's nothing too out of the ordinary. One thing's for sure is that Vanix building up onto that Sky Piercer is definitely great, but it did not pay all that great of a dividends because he only had a total of 3 kills to his name.
Yeah, but that's good enough, right? Because I've seen Grangers before back against the wall, but once the Sky Piercer starts racking up stacks, oh boy, he's doing a lot of damage. But the Wind of Nature is definitely very ideal at this particular game because you're going up against Seiji as well on the 1-1. Once you go into crossbow and tank, you just need some form of invulnerability, and that could helpfully tide across the damage. But also another thing is, for the side of Jay, going for the fleeting time as well, allowing the spam the Tsunami Slam over and over again, catching key targets, definitely going to be helpful in terms of picking up these kills.
Yep, and all in all, of course, kill participation is just all over the board. As much as I thought that Jay might have the highest kill participation because of the fact that he is literally one of the main and only catch, okay, not only, one of the main catch of the team that enables Curtese, he's only got 50% KP, so it's more of the fact that there are a lot of other kills that is credited somewhere else. Could be because of the fact that Ignite Gaming, they are a team that have a lot of range, right? We've got the what's that? Kimi, we've got 1-1. They are all generally very far apart, and let's not forget Fanny.
Yeah, but it's also easy for Curtese to pick up these kill participation. The fact that you're also your first skill in your light form